Welcome to Interface Studies. My name is Saleh. In October 2011, Apple released an app called Find My Friends. It was wrapped in stitched brown leather with a fake paper map underneath. It became, for the next 2 years, one of the standard examples of what went wrong with skeuomorphism in software design. It was polarizing. It was described as nonsensical, confusing, and fundamentally bad graphic design because it felt obsolete, not real, sometimes even patronizing. Let's look at this now. This is Electude Simulator Challenge in 2026. It's part of a comprehensive online e-learning solution for the automotive industry and vocational schools. It is working in a browser. You start from a work order. You can drag a multimeter across a drone engine bay and use its probes on any connector in the system. The multimeter is drawn with a high level of realism. The orange casing, the dial positions, the red and black probes, and the digital readout. None of this skeuomorphism has been retired. None of it is done for aesthetic reasons. And almost nobody who writes about interface design talks about it. Both of the previous examples are called skeuomorphism. One became a cautionary tale. The other has quietly continued across vocational training, scientific software, simulation games, and engineering education for nearly a century. This video is about the second one. The word skeuomorph was coined in 1889 by the British archaeologist Henry Colley March. He used it to describe features in new materials that preserve traces of older ones. Clay pottery imitating metal seams, or stone architecture preserving forms from earlier wooden buildings. By the iPhone era, the term had narrowed dramatically. Skeuomorphism came to mean a very specific visual style. Apple's calendar app looked like torn paper. Notes looked like a yellow legal pad. iBooks looked like a wooden bookshelf. Game Center looked like a casino table. But when Find My Friends app came out, people thought that it was too much. Apple took note. And by iOS 7 in 2013, almost all of that disappeared at once. Leather, felt, wood grain, stitching, paper textures, all of them gone. In their place came what the industry started calling flat design. White space, thin typography, simple icons, minimal surfaces. That transition locked in a very particular understanding of skeuomorphism. It became associated with decorative consumer software from roughly the early 2000s to 2013. Once that happened, another entire category of interface design largely disappeared from view. Today, we're seeing some kind of revival for skeuomorphic apps and skeuomorphic design in general. It is presenting itself as a way to distinguish designer skills from the AI-generated slop. Flat design is relatively easy to generate. Let's talk a little bit about the automotive training simulator. The company, Electude, was founded in the Netherlands in 1990. Students diagnose faults inside simulated engines using virtual multimeters, oscilloscopes, scan tools, and pressure gauges. The instruments on screen resemble the real tools because the student will later use those same tools in a physical workshop. The same pattern appears in electronics training software. Open a virtual electronics lab and the screen becomes a workbench, breadboards, jumper wires, oscilloscopes, multimeters, waveform generators. In tools like Tinkercad circuits or older systems like Electronics Workbench and NI Multisim, the learner wires components together spatially, places probes onto circuits, reads oscilloscope traces, debugs the faults using instruments arranged like their physical counterparts. The point is not nostalgia for laboratory equipment. It is operational transfer. The student who learns to read a waveform on a simulated oscilloscope is expected to recognize the same patterns later on a real bench with real instrument in front of them. Some of these systems are pictorial, others are symbolic. The representation survives because the world it points to still exists. A couple more examples. Medical education developed a similar structure. Modern surgical simulators extend this further by combining virtual operating environments with physical handheld instruments, haptic controls, and custom consoles that reproduce the resistance and positioning of real surgical tools. The trainee surgeon is not simply looking at a representation of surgery. They are rehearsing coordinated physical procedures intended to transfer directly into an operating theater. We can even go back further. In 1929, Edwin Link builds the Link Trainer, a mock aircraft cockpit mounted on pneumatic bellows. Pilots sit inside it and train on the same instruments and procedures they would later encounter in real aircraft. By the Second World War, it had become standard training equipment across multiple air forces. The systems are all doing something fundamentally different from Find My Friends. They're skeuomorphic. The leather diary tried to make unfamiliar software feel familiar. The simulator tries to make practice transferable. Sometimes skeuomorphism doesn't get it right when the goal is purely aesthetic or even metaphorical. This is where the direction of the reference is the whole story. The Find My Friends leather pointed from the world into the screen. It borrowed familiar physical objects to help users understand digital software. It didn't do a good job. Other apps did. The training simulator points the other way, from the screen outward into the world. The multimeter matters because the learner will pick up a real multimeter next week. The oscilloscope matters because the student will later read a real waveform on a lab bench. These are different cognitive jobs. The consumer version of skeuomorphism acted as a metaphor. The simulator acts as preparation. This is why the standard criticism of Apple-era skeuomorphism doesn't really apply to training software. The criticism was that the reference had become unnecessary, or maybe bad. By 2013, most smartphone users no longer needed a leather diary metaphor to understand a contacts app or a map interface. The visual reference survived after the learning problem had disappeared. But transfer-oriented skeuomorphism does not disappear as long as the physical practice still exists. Mechanics still use multimeters. Electronic students still wire breadboards. The screen is preparing the user for another environment beyond itself. Don Norman's The Design of Everyday Things is often cited in discussions of skeuomorphism because of its emphasis on affordances, the idea that objects should suggest their own use through form. But the simulator is not merely teaching the learner how to operate the simulator. It is teaching them how to operate something elsewhere. Educational psychology has a better term for this than interface design does. I've mentioned it a couple of times before. It's transfer. Edward Thorndike wrote about it in 1901 while studying how skills learned in one context carry into another. The simulator is valuable precisely because the skill migrates. The distinction explains why this version of skeuomorphism survived the flat design era almost untouched. Because it was never visual fashion. It was infrastructure for learning. Now, once we see this pattern, the category expands quickly. Simulation games often use the same visual language. PC Building Simulator lets players install real PC components into virtual cases, connect cables, enter BIOS menus, and of course benchmark finished machines. Car Mechanics Simulator does the same for engines and workshop tools. Microsoft Flight Simulator sits on the blurry boundary between consumer game and professional aviation training device. The difference here is that many players will never perform these tasks in reality. The skeuomorphism here produces the experience of operating a real system, even when no direct transfer is expected. Audio software forms another branch again. Open a modern digital audio workstation, and many plugins still resemble studio hardware from decades ago. This is not really training. Most users will never touch the physical device, but the visual resemblance still carries meaning here. Audio engineers associate certain hardware designs with certain sonic characteristics. The image becomes a shorthand for how the plugin is expected to sound before the user even hears it. And sometimes the interface stops being a metaphor entirely. In GarageBand for iPad, the on-screen piano keys and guitar strings are not references to instruments elsewhere. While you play them, they are the instrument. There's a final twist to all of this. Transfer-oriented skeuomorphism assumes that the cheapest place to rehearse physical practice is a screen, but that assumption may not hold for much longer. Mixed reality systems increasingly combine physical instruments with digital guidance. If that model matures, the role of the drone multimeter or virtual control panel may shrink. The transfer remains, but the representation changes medium. The important thing here is that the underlying problem never disappeared. Design discourse inherited its understanding of skeuomorphism from one brief period of consumer software history. It treated skeuomorphism mainly as a decorative style: leather, metal, felt. And for that specific category, their criticism was often correct, although it's having a comeback now. But there was always another lineage running underneath it, a version of skeuomorphism concerned not with nostalgia or visual comfort, but with continuity between environments. Their leather diary disappeared because users no longer needed help understanding digital maps. The multimeter survived because the learner still needs to use a multimeter tomorrow morning. One pointed inward, toward the screen itself. The other pointed outward, toward a world the screen is preparing the user to enter.